What is up, JoFam? Welcome back to another video. And as you can see by the title, we are reviewing my freshman year of college, and I'm going to try to review every single year. So, if you're new here, my name's Joe Bullock, and if you hit that subscribe button, you're part of the JoFam. Well, let's get started. So, I believe it was August 16th of 2019 when we came to move in. And I had both my grandparents and my mom and dad all driving down to the college to help me move in. My roommate was Kirsten. I believe we were in room 313 of our building. So the way we set up our room, so this is like the big part of the room, and like back there is the small room. So what we did is we both put our beds in the big room, and then we put the TV and the futon in the small room. So we were both staying in the big room. So we got everything moved in, and then we went down and ate lunch, and we did some stuff with the softball girls. I was also with Parker at the time, so we went to his hall. So at my school, you're not allowed to have boys or girls in your hall. Like if you're a girl, you can't have a boy. If you're a boy, you can't have a girl. But in move-in day, you can, because you're gonna need all the help you get. Especially for a girl, you're gonna need a guy to help carry the big stuff. So I went to Parker's room to check it out, and it was really nice. And if you guys know how he is, he's really neat. So it was very organized. And then he had came to my room and he helped organize my stuff, because I'm not very organized at all. I'm trying to be better about it though. But me and Kirsten went and ate lunch, and I don't think Parker went. I think he stayed in his room to organize. And then we did some stuff with the softball girls, met them. And then after that, I had said bye to my parents, and I just hung out with Parker. We explored the game room, and so we played pool and some ping pong. And then we also had a water slide thing. So it was like a cookout. I believe it was the next day. We had a cookout, and there was water slides. And so I had went to that with Kirsten and Parker. And I was standing with the softball girls, and Parker was joining us, because we're both not very social people. Like, he's more social than I am, but I'm not very social. So I kind of just stood there. And then Maddie, actually, who is my manager, she wanted to go down the water slide, and so I said I would go with her. We went down the water slide many, many times. And that is when I met Maddie. And so we hung out a lot that day, and then she introduced me to my best friend now, Mariah. They knew each other from the past, and so us three always hung out. And then on occasions, Kirsten would hang out with us. Parker would hang out also most of the time, but there was always so much tension in between all of them, but we're not going to get into that. But so we all three started hanging out. And going to softball together. We went to practices, we would drive together. And then I believe it was September is when me and Mariah became best friends. And we did everything together. You never saw us apart until we were going to bed. We would stay up till midnight or after, playing games or just hanging out. So there was some baseball boys that we would hang out with, including Parker, and play games in the lobby of our dorm. And then Parker would always go to bed early, so we would stay up. And then there was this one time I was supposed to do a YouTube video, and I was not able to edit because of the storage on my phone, where my best friends do my makeup. And I wish I could go back in time and really, really try to edit that video, because that would have been a good video. And then in October of 2019, of course, was Halloween, and me and Mariah dressed up as SpongeBob and Patrick. So we had went to the coffee shop and got a coffee, and then we were gonna go trick-or-treating. We were just gonna walk around, but it was too late because of practice and everything. So we went to my mammy's house, which is my mom's mom, and Parker had joined us. And so we went there and we spoke to them for a while, and then we came back. And we just hung out some more. And then my first semester of classes, I had Mariah in 2 classes. So that was interesting. I could really see her, interact with her, get to know her. And then I had Parker in 2 classes, so it was better, so we could help each other, because I trusted him and he trusted me. And then in November of 2019 is when me and Parker ended our 3-year, 10-month relationship. And that time was super, super hard for me. And a lot of people don't know the backstory, and that's okay. People don't know what is true, and I'm not going to get into the reasons. So we ended that, and we totally went strangers. Like, we went from hanging out every day, being like, he was like my best friend. Literally, he was my best friend. And the love of my life, to complete strangers. And so that happened, and I tried to talk to him to work things out, because I was like, let's not let a almost 4-year relationship out the window. So I believe it was December, I had messaged him to talk, and he didn't want to, he wasn't ready, and I respect that. I just hated, we were just strangers, in class. He wouldn't sit by me. It was the hardest thing I think I've ever been through. I was in deep, deep, deep depression. I had suicidal thoughts, and I couldn't imagine what he was going through as well, but I always thought I was hurting worse, but you never know until you know what the other person's feeling. I had made a video of the breakup, and I ended up deleting it, and I also made a video of making a decision on what to do with the breakup, but ended up deleting it because it was offensive or something. I don't know. So I deleted it, and it basically explained why we broke up and my decision to move on. And I made that video in December, the day we moved out for Christmas break. So I used Christmas break to let it settle and get done and over with, and then come back to a new semester. I told myself, I was like, I'll give him all break, and a week we come back to speak to me. So that did not happen. I did not get spoken to, and I always had the lower expectations. I was like, okay, he's probably not going to speak to me. Don't get my hopes up. but I definitely was not in the right state of mind. I did make some pretty bad decisions that I'm not going to go into, but it definitely changed me for the worst. I'll say that. But if I wouldn't be the way I am now without my best friend. So anyway, so I had Mariah there by my side. If I was even thinking of shedding a tear, she punched me and would yell at me. And then she would, comfort me and be like, look, you don't need him. He's no good. She is like literally the best friend anyone can have. If you need looking for a best friend, find one like her. Anyways, so I think I didn't do anything in January. I don't think I reached out in January. February. Okay. I reached out in February. On February, I want to say like the 10th. I was in the basement, so this is funny. So I know there was like a Zumba class going on in the basement, but I had homework, so I had went down in the basement. Mariah was at hitting lessons. So I went down in the basement by myself, and I was actually FaceTiming Maddie because I needed to talk to Parker. Like, we can't keep being strangers. So I waited down there for him to be done, and when he walked by me, I did like a cough, and he didn't hear it. And so I was like, and there's people around, and like baseball boys, and I didn't want it to be obvious. So I was like, okay, I need to go get a charger. So I go up the stairs. So he went up the stairs, and so I follow, and I yell, hey, and he looks back, and I say, we need to talk. And he said, can we do it later? I have a meeting in an hour. And I said, look, it won't take that long. Just hear me out. It needs to be now. Because I didn't trust that tomorrow that was going to happen. I needed it to be now. So we talked for an hour. And it was honestly really hard for me. He wasn't crying, or he was probably upset, but he wasn't crying. I was bawling my eyes out. He's a really, really strong guy. If he cries, you see him cry, something's seriously wrong. He's really, really strong. And I give him props for that. I wish I was that strong at that time. But I had told him, I said, hey, I bought you a Valentine's Day present. And he said, you shouldn't have. I don't know what I want to do yet. And I said, I understand, but you need to see this. And so he was like, okay. So I think a couple days later, I had given him the basket part. It was a card, his favorite candy, Swedish Fish, and some Snapple. And I gave it to him, and I said, backtrack. I gave it to my college coach, who was a security guard, because I was too chicken to give it to him myself. Let me reverse that, okay? And so my college coach called him and said, you're in trouble, you have a security problem. So Parker had to turn around because he was going home, so he had to turn around and go back to the school. He was freaking out, and he walks in and sees flowers and balloons and a card and Swedish Fish and stuff. And my college coach was like, she cares about you. Don't let her go. And he was like, look, I told her I didn't know what I wanted to do yet. And my college coach was like, look, don't let her go. He even videoed it, and I saw his reaction, and I wasn't very happy. It didn't make me feel good. But I had 2 more presents that weren't there yet. A couple days later, the presents came in, and I messaged him on Instagram. The only thing I'm not blocked on. I didn't mention that. I'm blocked on everything but Instagram. So I had messaged him about it. I said, I have the rest of your presents if you want to come get them. He said, okay, I'll be in the hallway. So I go in the hallway of the staircase, and I say, here. I said, this isn't just for you, it's for your whole family, to show my sincere apology. And it was a calendar of his family. Every single month had a different picture. And then I also made him a blanket with him and his dog on it, because I know how much he cared about his dog. And so I gave that to him, and I never got a thank you text for either of the presents. So that's when I kind of realized, it was done a little bit. But I still had hope, I still reached out. And then we got kicked out in March because of the coronavirus. And I messaged him in March. I messaged him in March for stay safe, good luck on your work. And then I said, I still want to talk things through. And then he messaged, we talked, and we did not have a good conversation. The way I read the messages were kind of rude back to me. So that's the way I read them. That's why I don't get it. That's why I don't like talking about things over text messages, because you can interpret it differently. And so I didn't message him again. I said, okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm over it. That day, I packed his stuff up and I took it back to his house. I put it on his doorstep. And then I finished school in April, and I was doing a lot better. I was a lot happier. And then I reached out in May. I was like, hey, do you want to come to my birthday party, or do you want to meet up for an hour and talk things through? No reply back. And so after 2 weeks, I said, you know what, fine. I reached out my hand. I poured my heart out to you. You don't want to fix things, whatever. See you in August. Have a good life. No reply back. And then I started working to better myself. I stopped making the bad decisions. I hung out with my best friend a lot, and I really, really bettered myself. So June through August, didn't message him, didn't care to. And now I'm so much happier. And all summer I was really worried about coming back and seeing him and having those feelings again. But I came back and I didn't feel any of those feelings. So that is basically my freshman year, but there's a little bit to a twist. So I mentioned Kirsten at the very beginning. Now we're not friends for reasons I will not tell you guys, because that is not just my business, that's hers, and I don't want to spread it. But it's whatever. I will say it's because of betraying, lying, breaking promises. That's all I'm gonna say. To me, she did that to me. So anyways, that was really my 2019 and 2020 freshman college school year and how it went. And I will update after this year. But right now I have my best friend Mariah, I have Maddie, and I'm currently single, not talking to anybody, haven't dated anybody, and I'm really excited to see where this journey is going to take us. So I love you guys so much, and you're all beautiful, and God created you for a reason. Peace.